Okay, what are the rules they need to follow even when there is a face-to-face communication? Okay, due to some reason, if the two friends are located in different place, okay, in that case, how they need to communicate or what are the rules they need to follow. Okay, so this is how the second scenario we have discussed. So how exactly the information or message sent between two friends. So here we have already discussed in the previous, maybe last week, but the thing is this was missing, encryption and decryption. The data is going to be encrypted using some key mechanism. Okay, so that whatever the information you want to send, you will be getting ciphertext. Okay, yesterday I was explaining how plain text is converted into ciphertext. Okay, where I have taken SVC. So because if this is my password, if I am sending this in the network, there may be possibility of the intruder. Okay, the intruder can, they can access that information and they misuse it. So to avoid that, they will go for the encryption mechanism. So what is this encryption is? You can just see. So the data, whatever this is plain text. SVC is plain text. Then you can see this is encrypted data. Okay, I'm just telling this is, there are different mechanisms and protocols. Algorithms are there for encryption and decryption. So that is a second, like separate part of security mechanism. Here, just for time being, just remember. So the introducer should be unable to read the data. So for that reason, it requires to convert the plain text into ciphertext. Okay, is it clear? So how it is done? Well, there are different mechanisms. So here I am just telling, wherever in that particular document, wherever S comes replaced with H, wherever V comes replaced with C, okay, C with F, E with W, something like this. Now if I am sending this data through the network, okay, so the intruder may not able to understand what I am sending in the network. Okay, and how the receiver will understand it? How receiver will understand it? For that, it requires decrypt mechanism. Okay, once the mail is received at the receiver side, okay, it should be decrypted. So it is in the form of ciphertext. It should be decrypted using a set of algorithms to be used, and it will produce the plain text. Okay, which algorithm to use, how to use. So that is once again a protocol. So only these sender and receiver will be knowing it. Okay. So actually the not normal user will be able to do all this. That is done automatically when the data to be sent to the sent through the network. It is done automatically. Okay, the user is not going to worry about how to encrypt and decrypt the data. Okay, decryption is nothing but converting ciphertext into plain text. Once it is done, it is delivered to the, or it will be able to receive by the person, receiver person. Okay, so this is how the exchange of information takes place. So we have discussed all this, what is protocol layering, principles of protocol layering, and what is logical connection. Okay, there will be a logical connection between the objects, okay, or the entities, whatever we can see here, this side, sender side and receiver side. For each, I will tell plain text is an entity or an object. Okay, so it requires logical connection. What is the meaning of logical connection? It is virtual connection. Virtual means you are not going to establish a connection physically with a wire, physical wire. It is just a logical. That means through program or instruction, it is going to make a connection between these two entities or the objects. Okay, so like that, it requires a logical connection should be established between the corresponding entities from sender to the receiver side. Okay, no, don't worry much about this. Just remember what is logical connection. Then we started discussing about the protocol, TCP/IP protocol suite. Okay, so I was explaining about OSI model. Okay, so where there are 7 layers in the OSI model. Okay, yesterday a few students told. So what are the layers of OSI model? Mute yourself. Somebody is unmuted. Digital. So there are 5 layers. That is 7 is reduced to 5 layers. In real time, whatever the protocols or the whichever the standard we are using for communication is TCP/IP protocol suite. And whatever we have discussed, it is just a theoretical part, OSI model. This was invented first, okay, and this is converted into TCP/IP model. So what is the main difference I told in yesterday's class? So where the first, the topmost 3 layers, it is combined into a single layer. Okay, the topmost 3 layers, it is combined into a single layer called application layer. And remaining it is following as it is: transport, network, data link layer and physical layer. Okay, is it clear? So 7 layers are, that is due to some reason. Okay, so they were unable to implement accordingly these 7 layers. Okay, that is just converted into 5 layers by combining the application, presentation, session layer into a single layer. Okay, so whatever the functionality it is going to perform here, these 3 layers, that is combined and put together into a single layer. Okay, then we have a transport layer, network layer, data link layer and physical layer. So what exactly, so how we have discussed sending a mail from Maria to Anne, okay, how it is done, what are the layers, like in each layer what are the functionality it is performed. In the same manner, in the communication network also it is going to perform the task. That is, each layer is responsible for performing set of functions, and each layer is also having set of protocols. Okay, we'll just discuss these layers one by one. Okay, I will start with a layer 1, that is a physical layer. Okay, so this is a common question. Okay, this is very important and common question for 8 to 10 marks. So what is the explain TCP/IP protocol suite? So in detail if they ask, then you have to draw the diagram. Okay, then you have to explain each layer. So the layers in the TCP/IP protocol suite used in the internet today. Okay, whatever we are using in the internet today, so it is going to follow this protocol mechanism. So it is hierarchical protocol made up of interactive modules. Okay, made up of interactive modules, each of which provides specific functionality. That is very important. Okay, so each of which specifies set of functionalities. Okay, hierarchical means it is the layer mechanism. So it provides specific function. The term hierarchical means that each upper layer, okay, the each upper layer protocol is supported by the service provided by one or more lower layer protocols. Okay, it is not just specifying the functionality or performing the functionality individual layer. So it requires whatever the services in this particular lower layer. Okay, always this is lower layer, that is physical layer. For this, the upper layer is data link layer. Okay, so it goes like that. For transport layer, okay, the lower layer is network layer and the upper layer is application layer. Okay, so this transport layer, it is going to get the service from the lower layer. Okay, and it is going to give the service to the upper layer, transport layer. So this is how it is going to provide the services between the hierarchical layers. The original TCP/IP protocol suite was defined as 4 software layers built upon the hardware. Okay, so yesterday I told like how exactly they have divided these layers into hardware part and software part. Okay, you can just observe here. So this is just the layer connection between source, host. Host is nothing but, once again, it is a device. Okay, it is a sender device. Okay, so you can just observe here. This is source and this is destination. So now if source want to send the data, okay, so how exactly the data moves? The source, the sender is going to create the data. Okay, sending mail or sending file. That file is prepared. Then it will be sent to the transport layer. So transport layer, it is going to add some of the functionalities. Okay, it is going to provide some services with that particular data. So what exactly it is going to do, we'll discuss when we are discussing the individual layers. It is going to add the address information. Each layer is going to add the address information. Okay, it is not just one address is added to the info document and sent to the destination. Okay, it is not like that. So when it is implemented in the software, so it requires to the data should go through each layer. Okay, and each layer is having some responsibility. Okay, some functionality it is going to provide. It has to check those functionalities with respect to the data that is received from the upper layer. Okay, then network layer, data link layer, physical layer. Okay, in between you can just observe here, in between there are some network elements. Okay, so this can be a switch. Okay, and this is router, and this is once again a switch, then destination. It is here, this is a simple network. So in real time, if you imagine, so many devices are connected in between. Okay, so in that case, what are the layers that comes under those intermediate or network components? These are also called network components. So router, switch, all those are all called network components. So here you can just observe the layers implemented at the source device. So it is the application layer, transport layer. Okay, and also all the 5 layers it will be at the source side. But when it comes to the network layer, okay, I mean network elements, in that switch, if I consider switch, it will be having only 2 layers, data link layer and physical layer. Because in the last class I explained what is the difference between switch and router. Okay, so with respect to router, it is going to have 3 layers. Okay, network layer, data link layer and physical layer. Similarly, here also switch is having 2 layers. So this is how the TCP IP model looks if you go in depth, how it is connected with respect to the network components. Okay, whatever the data that comes from here, it goes to the network layer, then data link layer moves to the physical, then it will reach any of the network elements. Okay, then this is once again it will go to first data link layer, then come back to the physical layer. Okay, physical layer, data link layer, and also your network layer. Okay, network layer, then data link layer, physical layer, like this it will go. So now at the once it comes at the destination, so the data is delivered to the physical layer. Okay, it will perform its whatever the responsibility or functionalities defined for the physical layer, and also data link layer, then moves the data to network layer, then transport, then application. Finally, it is delivered to the destination. See, this is the flow of data. Okay, this is the flow of data. Okay, so this is the simple diagram that shows how data is sent, and you can just observe this whatever the dotted line you can see here between application layer. So here it is going to apply the, I mean it is going to create the logical connection. Okay, logical connection established between these 2 layers and between transport layers. Okay. Okay, so you can just observe. So as the data moves from each layer, the data is represented in different format. Okay, so here it will be just in the form of plain text. Okay, and here we call it as actually the segments. So when the data comes to the transport layer, in the initial application layer, it is in the form of messages. Okay, the complete message, whatever you want to send, it will be in the form of message. So now once it sent to the transport layer, it is going to divide that message into number of segments. Okay, I'm just telling very briefly here because we are going to discuss these layers in detail later. Okay, it is going to divide into number of segments. Okay, So segment 1, 2, 3, whatever the message I am sending, that is divided into segments in transport layer. Always remember, the data represented at transport layer, we call it as segments. Okay, it is represented as segments. Then whatever segment it is done, so each segment will be sent to the network layer. It will be sent to the network layer. Once again, in the network layer, the each segment, it is divided into number of packets. Okay, so here they have given datagram, both are same, packets or datagrams. So in the network layer, we are going to represent the message in the form of packets. Okay, once again, it will divide the data into number of packets, small sized packets. Okay, once it is done, then it will add its own header footer. Then it will be sent to the data link layer. So in data link layer, so once again, each packet, it is divided into number of frames. Okay, so it is represented. We have a standard structure for each of these. Okay, we'll be discussing in detail later. Just recall, so this is IP packet format, IPv4. Everybody knows what is IPv4. Okay, so for this, there is a standard format. Okay, where to how to represent the source address, destination address. Okay, it is not just writing source address, destination address and the information. It's not enough. Okay, when it is working with a real-time network, it requires lot of the information to be added. Okay, because here you can just see I have just divided the data into number of part segments. Okay, once it reaches the destination, how exactly it is going to identify those segments, because it has to reassemble the data into the proper message. Okay, that all that it is taken care by the each layer. Okay, then it comes to the each frame come to the physical layer, and that frame will be represented in terms of bits. Okay, ultimately the system will understand only binary numbers. Okay, zeros and ones. So now those bits will be sent through the transmission medium. Okay, sent through the transmission medium. If there is any network element, okay, it will go through that network element. Here it is a router. Okay, you know already what is the function of router. In the last class I explained, and that will move to the physical layer, data link layer, then network layer, then it will come back and it will reach the destination. Okay, here this is a simple diagram where I am showing only one router, but in real time there will be more number of network elements. Okay, the message will be passed till it reaches the destination. Okay, then it reaches the physical layer, then it will perform some particular action on the received bits. Then those bits are combined to form a frame. Okay, it is just going to perform the reverse operation. That is what happened at the sender side, and the complete message is delivered to the receiver. Okay, so now you need to understand, so what is happening in each layer. I am not telling anything, what each layer is responsible. Okay, if I tell application layer or transport layer, so what are the functionality of each of these layers? And also you can just observe, so there will be a logical connection between the identical objects, so that you should not forget. Okay. Now we'll go with each layer. We'll discuss in detail about all these 5 layers. What are the responsibilities assigned to each of the layers? So in that, we'll start with the layer 1, physical layer. So when I tell physical layer, so the physical layer is responsible for movement of individual bits from one node to the another node. Okay, so you can just see by this time, whatever the data that is received at the physical layer, okay, it is in the form of bits. So now these bits should be transferred through the transmission media, okay, till it reaches the destination. So now that is the responsibility of the physical layer. Okay, it is responsible for moving individual bits from one node to the next node, okay, or one node to the other node. Then transmission media is another hidden layer under the physical layer. Okay, So when I tell physical layer, there will be a transmission media. Okay, whatever the link you can see here between this layer and the router, so there will be a link. Okay, either it can be a wired link or wireless link. Okay, that is hidden from the physical layer. Two devices are connected by transmission media. Okay, so transmission medium can be a cable or it can be a hair. Okay, so if it is wireless, we'll be using hair as a transmission medium. Then transmission media does not carry bits, it carries electrical signals or optical signals. That is very, very important. So ultimately, whatever the data that is present at the physical layer, it is in the form of bits. Okay, so in the transmission media, it is not possible to send the bits as it is. It requires to convert into electrical signals. It requires to convert into electrical signals or optical signals. Okay, so there are different ways, that is called as encoding mechanism. Okay, encoding mechanism. So we'll discuss those encoding mechanism later in the next chapter. Actually, we have a separate chapter to understand how the data is encoded, either in the form of analog signals, okay, or in the form of digital signals. Okay, so this is digital, so this is indicating 1, this is 0 1. Okay, so we have, this is not only the representation, we have different representation of encoding, so that we'll discuss later. Just remember, the transmission media, it does not carry the bits, so it has to be converted into electrical signals and optical signals. So the physical layer receives bits from data link layer. Okay, you can just observe, go back to the diagram, you can just see from where the data is received, from data link layer. Okay, the physical layer is receiving the data from data link layer and sends through transmission media, and it is going to send the data to the specified destination through transmission media. So now what are the basic functionalities of the physical layer? So here I've just listed some of them. So one is transmission media or physical characteristics of interface and media. Okay, so it is going to explain what should be the physical characteristics of interfaces or the transmission media that is used to connect the devices. Okay, so then representation of bits, how you are going to represent the bits. I told there are different ways of representing the bits for encoding of bits. So either it depends on how you are going to convert or what type of signal you are going to convert. We have a different, the physical layer is responsible for representation of bits into signals. Okay, it is responsible for representation of bits into signals. Then data rate. Okay, how many or number of bits sent each second. Okay, physical layer is going to define how many number of bits sent each second. So that is called as data rate, bits sent each second. So that data rate, it is defined by a physical layer. How many bits it is going to send per second. Okay, that is defined by the physical layer. Then synchronization of bits. Okay, synchronization of bits. So we'll discuss about this, how to achieve the synchronization of bits. That means how fast the sender is sending. So in the same manner, the same data should be received at the receiver side. Okay, so there should be a speed synchronization between the sender and receiver. So that is called as synchronization of bits. Then line configuration. So what is line configuration? We have discussed in the first chapter. So that is what type of connection it is. Is it a point to point or multi-point? So physical layer is going to define what type of line configuration it is going to use. Then physical topology. Okay, physical topology, what type of topology the network is using. Okay, so all these are defined by the physical layer. Okay, we have already discussed some of the terms. Physical topology, either it can be a mesh or star, or it can be a ring, and also bus. Okay, then transmission mode. So what type of transmission mode it is going to use? The physical layer is going to use. Once again, three categories: simplex, then half duplex, then full duplex. So among these, which one it is using? So it has to define all these characteristics, and it is taken care by the physical layer. Any doubt here? Any questions? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So this is very, very important. You need to understand each layer how it is going to perform. So in later module, you're going to learn all these things. Okay, how to represent the representation of bits, how it can be done, how it can be converted into signals. So all that you're going to learn in detail. But here at least you should be able to list out all the functionality of the layers. So that is very, very important. And you can just observe. Okay, so this is not there in the 5th edition, but this is a diagram, basic diagram you need to understand. So how the data is sent at the physical layer. I'm just following at the physical layer. You can just observe there is no other layer. So whatever the data that is received from the data link layer, it is converted into bits. Okay, it is converted into bits. Here you can see there are some bits in different color. Okay, so some are represented in orange color and some are in yellow color box. Okay, so this is actually the message or the actual data it want to send, and these are all some additional information added by the physical layer. Okay, this is complete data sent by the data link layer. For that it is adding some information, so we'll be discussing later. So what is this information the physical or layer or other layers are adding to the original data? Okay, next. Okay, whatever the bits it is converted, I mean bits it is converted from frame to the binary numbers, it will be sent through the transmission medium, and here when it is sending it requires to convert these bits into signals. Okay, either it can be analog signal or it can be a digital signal. So that we are going to discuss how it can be done, how this data can be converted into signal later, and it will be sent through the transmission media and it reaches the receiver. Okay, what is going to happen at the receiver side? It is going to receive the data, and whatever the header information, we call it as this is header. Okay, header added by the physical layer. So now that has to be removed before delivering. See, still you people are using the personal email IDs to log in. Okay, many of them. Don't use the Gmail or some other mail IDs. Use the logins, whatever it is given by the college. So now whatever the header it is added at the sender side, that should be removed. Okay, and it is this information is telling some particular task to be performed. Okay, it will perform the task according to the given information, and it will just remove this part of information, whatever it is added at the physical layer, and the remaining data is sent to the data link layer. The remaining data is sent to the data link layer. Okay, this is just a view how data is exchanged between the physical layer from source to destination. Okay, this is where the transmission media it comes. So only the physical layer is interacting the transmission media directly, no other layers. Is it clear? So this is very, very important. So representation of bits, data rate, synchronization of bits, line configuration, physical topology, and transmission mode. We'll move on to the next layer called data link layer. Okay, I already told each layer we are going to represent the data in different format. Okay, so you can just observe here. So here always in the physical layer the data is represented in the form of bits. Okay, in data link layer the data is represented in the form of frames. In the network layer we call the data as packets, and transport layer segments. Okay, so like this we are going to specify the data into different representation at each layer. The data is not going to change, or the message what you want to share, it is not going to change. So the same data it is represented in different format. Okay. So next we'll move on to data link layer. So always the first responsibility of any of the layer is the representation of data. Okay. So here DLL, in short we call it as DLL. Indicates data link layer. So data link layer is responsible for moving frames. What is frames? That is representation of data in the data link layer from one node to the other node over a link. Okay, it is responsible for moving the frames or representation of data into frames. Next, the link can be wired. Okay, so here the link can be wired LAN or wide area network, or wireless LAN or wireless wide area network. So here the data link layer gets the datagram from the network layer. Okay, so it is going to get the data from network layer. You can just observe. Okay, above to the data link layer is network layer. So that is going to send the data. So that will be in the form of datagrams. Okay, I told it is also called packets. So now whatever the data it is receiving from the network layer, it will be converted into frame. And what and all it is going to perform, it is going to add two information. Okay, so one is called header part and another one is called trailer part. Okay, so header part normally it is with respect to some source and destination address, and trailer part it is mainly used for the some extra bits are added here in the trailer part, extra bits. Okay, so what are those extra bits? Are used for correcting errors. Okay, so if there is any error in the received data, if it requires to correct the errors, so those extra bits are used and the data will be corrected. And after adding header and trailer information, it is sent to the physical layer. Okay, it is sent to the physical layer. Then we have already discussed what physical layer is doing. Then at the receiver side, the data is received from the physical layer, okay, where it contains the header information and trailer information. So it will just remove that part and it will extract only the data. And using this header part and trailer part, it is going to perform a particular functionality on this data. Okay, once it is done, the data is delivered to the network layer. Okay, the data is delivered to the network layer. Next. Okay, so here also we have a set of functionalities assigned to the data link layer. So one I told framing, whatever the data that is coming from the network layer, it is represented in the form of frames. Then it is having responsibility of physical addressing. Okay, so physical address is added, that is header part and the trailer part. Header part indicates the source and destination address is added to the frame, and also it is having some other important functionalities. Okay, so it supports complete error detection, correction. Okay, some protocol provide only error correction. Okay, so this layer alone, it is having set of protocols. Okay, in that protocol, some of the protocols are responsible for flow control. Okay, what exactly flow control? Okay, I think that point is not covered here. Okay, just write this. Flow control. So flow control means, consider the sender is too fast, sending the data at high rate. In case if the receiver is slow, okay, the receiver is slow, what happens? What happens? So whatever the data that is sent by the sender, there may be possibility of the data may be lost. Some data may be lost because receiver is very slow in receiving the data. So it is the data, it is coming at faster rate and it will be lost at the receiver side. So for that reason, it requires flow control should be done. That means whenever if the receiver is slow, it should communicate to the sender indicating send the data at slower rate, so that accordingly the sender will be adjusting the speed and it will send the data. Okay, so for this we have a set of protocols. Okay, so we have set of protocols to achieve this flow control. This is to avoid the fast sender can be slowed using some set of protocols. We'll discuss those protocols in the later units. That is one part. And the second, one more functionality is error control. Okay, or we can call it as error detection and correction. Okay, so the data link layer is responsible for error detection and correction. So I told many times, when the data moves through the transmission medium, so we may not ensure that the data that is sent through the transmission media reaches the destination as it is. If it is the data it is sent is 1001, when it goes through the transmission media and received at the receiver side, maybe this 1 may be changed to 0. Okay, and this data is received, 100 is received instead of 1001. Okay, so actually this is not the correct data. There is a error in the received data. How to detect this? Okay, so it's very difficult to know how the receiver will come to know that it is 1001 instead of 100. Okay, the receiver cannot recognize this. So for that reason, data link layer is having set of protocols, okay, or the algorithms that is going to detect these errors. Okay, identify the error. Once the error is identified, immediately it should be corrected. It should be corrected. It should be corrected. Okay, for that we have a correction protocols. So error detection protocols and also correction. Once error is identified, it should be corrected, and once it is corrected, then it is delivered to the receiver. And there are some algorithms or protocols, they will do only the error correction. Okay, so these are all main functionalities provided by the data link layer. So there is one more functionality, that is access control. Okay, access control. So that is the data link layer is responsible for accessing the link or the channel to send the data. Okay, so in the network there are so many devices connected. So at a time any one device can send the data. In that case, it requires some algorithm to know which device can send the data. Okay, so that is decided using this access control mechanism how to access the link. So is it based on first come first serve or priority based? So like that we have different concepts used to access the channel. Okay, so that comes under access control. We'll discuss that part also later. So those protocols also we are going to discuss in detail later. And this is the diagram. Okay, so data link layer is also responsible for hop to hop delivery. Okay, that means one node to the another node. It has to deliver the data. So that we call it as hop to hop delivery. You can just observe in the diagram. So this is the source system. So whatever the data it want to send, it goes through the physical, transmission media, and this is the intermediate node. So in the intermediate node, it will be having actually three layers if it is a router. Okay, but here we are discussing data link layer. So we'll consider two layers. Okay, so the delivering of that information that from the data link layer of source to this particular intermediate node data link layer, we call it as hop to hop delivery. Similarly, it can be between router, that information if it is exchanged between routers, that is also called hop to hop delivery. It is nothing but node to node. Okay, node means it is not only the source and destination, whatever the intermediate node or the network elements that comes, we call it as node to node delivery of data. Okay, or hop to hop delivery of data. So this is a concept. Hop to hop delivery mechanism is used in or implemented at the data link layer. Okay, so till it reaches the end system, so the data is passed through the network and it will be reached at the destination by using the concept of hop to hop delivery. Okay, so any doubt as of now with respect to data link layer? Yes.